Missouri State Senator Maria Chappelle-Nadal joins me now live from Ferguson. Senator, let me ask you this. I mean, you've heard the concerns of some business owners. I mean, have you been in contact with any of them personally, and what are they telling you?
Well, I have to tell you, I have spoken with business owners on both sides of the issue, and many of which are saying that they still support the protesters as long as everything is peaceful. Many of them have constituents or people who work for them who have been harassed previously by police officers, so they're very understanding of what this movement is. But I know that others, in fact, if you look on West Florissant or on South Florissant, you'll see several of the businesses' windows that are boarded up. But there are some business owners who say, I'm not boarding up my business because I know that things are going to turn out right.
And I know that you also send your constituents some video on what could happen once this announcement comes out about Officer Wilson. I want to just take a quick listen to that.
This is not a test. May God be with you all.
What is it about that video that you thought people needed to see?
Well, you know what? That was about police brutality. Many of the things that came up in that video, one of which my constituents were hogtied, and I wanted to show that to people, but also they were arrested when they were on sidewalks, which is completely unconstitutional. So I wanted people to know there are two sides to the story. A lot of the media has said that this is only a black issue, has said that protesters have been violent, but I wanted to show the other side, because the people who I'm with are peaceful protesters, and this is what they've endured. And I wanted to ensure that the world knows this is what has happened in Ferguson throughout some time, and hopefully the Department of Justice has put all law enforcement in Missouri in place so that they do not break our constitutional rights.
I also find it interesting that you've encouraged your constituents to turn to social media for updates in Ferguson. Why do you emphasize that?
Well, you know what? A lot of people are getting their media from local news, and sometimes it does not cover the full story. And so you get up-to-date coverage on social media. It's immediate. You don't have to wait for a producer at all, but it's right there, right in front of you. And if there are constituents who are in certain places in St. Louis and they need to be cautious of where they are, I want them to be able to look at our Twitter account or our Facebook account to know where to not go and where it is safe.
And also, Michael Brown's parents, as you know, are in Geneva. Were you in contact with them at all before they traveled there? Do you think they were on point by taking their case before the UN here?
I think they did the right thing, because the world needs to know exactly what has been going on here in Ferguson. There have been several human rights that have been violated. The First Amendment starting with one being gassed. I was tear gassed for 3 hours myself along with my intern. And the world needs to know this is what law enforcement, some of them, did to us here. And you don't see this all across America. You don't even see this in Iraq or Afghanistan. I have to tell you, I've been to Iraq, and I've been fired at in a bunker in Iraq, and let me tell you, I was more afraid in Ferguson, Missouri than I was in Baghdad, Iraq.
Wow, that's a big statement. All right, Maria Chappelle-Nadal, thank you so much for your time.